Ippo, after retiring from active professional boxing, has grown stronger over a surprisingly short period of time and can still pull off his signature moveset, often with more advanced strategy than he had while active. His growth hasn't gone unnoticed. Characters like the Kamogawa boys, Kamogawa himself, and even Takamura have all remarked on it. But the ones who truly witness Ippo's improvement firsthand are his former opponents. In sparring sessions against those he's faced before, Ippo not only showcases his growth but proves that he hasn't lost a step. He's far from rusted and still a serious force in the ring, capable of surprising even those who once defeated him. You've probably seen me talk about Ippo's retirement arc a few times before, but in this video I want to flip that on its head and actually analyze something different. How Ippo managed to grow stronger even in retirement. Because you might be asking yourself, how is it even possible that, according to Ippo himself, he wants to avoid close combat altogether, yet still manage to improve? That's literally the opposite of what he planned. Well, to answer that, we'll dive into how the story handles it, using both the plot and real life examples of how the body responds to growth and develops over time. Even though Hajime no Ippo is fictional, it's still pretty grounded, incorporating real sports research and boxing techniques. Just don't expect to see anyone pulling off a diagonal Dempsey roll in real life anytime soon. If you don't want to miss out on more Ippo content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Even though I've talked about Ippo's post-retirement growth many times before, what I never covered is how Ippo actually got stronger. The key answer is that he's still deeply involved in boxing every single day without being too active in the ring himself by becoming a coach. Honestly, it only makes sense. After almost reaching a world title fight against the ultimate champion, Ippo's teachings and experiences are incredibly valuable for the next generation, and he's still literally the definition of hard-working, relentless individual who never stops improving. That's why he currently has two disciples who only exist purely in the plot for Ippo to refine the basics of boxing, like the jab, defense and movement. That's literally their only purpose. One of them is even Aoki's younger brother, yet after almost 300 chapters their relationship has never really been explored, and they barely get any focus. I bet most of you can't even remember their names, because they are just there for Ippo to train every day without turning pro again. So I'll halt every comment that correctly names both of them, so go ahead, take your guesses. I'm curious to see who actually remembers. And here we get into how the human body works, how even after taking a so-called rest, it can still develop and grow. In real life, if you take an extended break from the gym, you naturally lose some of your gains over time, simply because your body isn't being challenged anymore. However, when you restart your training, even in the worst case scenario where you've lost almost everything you built, your body can regain it remarkably fast. It often takes only about half the time it first took to build those gains. The same principle applies to combat sports. As long as you're still healthy and haven't aged too drastically, the brain automatically recalibrates your body because it remembers the patterns it used to perform. That's why Ippo was able to regain his fighting style, reflexes and strength just a few months after retiring. It was a well-earned break after enduring endless punishment to the face and constantly being under pressure to prove that he wasn't broken. But the most important factor as to what makes Ippo so strong is the simple truth that this guy genuinely loves to help people. I am not exaggerating when I say this. He is selfless in every sense of the word when it comes to boxing and the people around him. The only rare times Ippo truly fought for himself and had a more quote-unquote selfish goal was when he wanted to face Miyata. And to this day, I still stand firmly on the hill that if Ippo ever fought Miyata, he would enter the ring in his absolute peak condition. It would be the same kind of sharp, almost terrifying dominance he displayed during that short but glorious stretch as a champion, right after he defeated Takamura. Most of the time, however, Ippo's motivation doesn't come from within, but from the expectations and hopes that other people put on his shoulders. Even now, long after retiring, the main reason he pushes himself is because he feels a deep responsibility towards his gym mates and fellow boxing friends. Whether as a coach or a sparring partner, he wants to be as helpful as possible, and because of that drive, life. He improves on a daily basis without even realizing how much stronger he has become. It's even turned into a running meme in the community. Ippo outside the ring is just the helpful, humble fisherman we all know that gets hammered during world title fights, but the moment he's sparring with a friend to be helpful, he suddenly transforms into a beast inside the ring and goes insane. What I find most fascinating is that Ippo makes the most improvements all by himself without anyone ordering him how to train or putting a leash on him. He trains his students the way he wants to, and if somebody needs help, he improves himself to be a better helper. Like when Mashiba needed a sparring partner, Ippo went out on his weight and perfected the southpaw stance in just a matter of days. Something that would have been extremely handy if he were still active. And even before retirement, Ippo's biggest developments were born from his own initiative. The Dempsey roll itself was something he stumbled upon by pure accident. The idea of the Dempsey counter came to him only after being countered by Volk, and even the final evolution of the Dempsey roll was something he discovered by chance until Kamogawa stepped in to refine it. It's like every breakthrough Ippo had, he didn't wait for someone to hand it to him. He just pushed forward, discovered it on his own, and then perfected it. However, the question still remains, is current Ippo truly ready to take on the world right now with the skills, knowledge and the power he has? Or is there still more room for improvement required before he can rise on that level? At this point of the story, there are barely any featherweight boxers left who would realistically pose a challenge to Ippo, since most of his generation have already retired. The only ones still lingering on the world stage are Guevara and Randy Boy Jr. They may have sharpened their skills since we last saw them, and it's possible that they've leveled up. But even then, the Ippo we have now will most likely eat them alive. The real threats would be entirely new blood, fresh characters we haven't seen before, because only then could the story explore new dynamics and showcase how Ippo would fare against an unknown element. But the elephant in the room still looms large. Is any of this enough to actually defeat Ricardo Martinez? And to be honest, as things stand right now, it looks very unlikely that current Ippo could topple Martinez, especially considering Ricardo's fight against Sando, where he crushed Sando twice with nothing but 2 clean punches. It directly ties back to the criticism of Ippo's style, that relying on face tanking damage in high stakes matches will only break you down, the same way Sando is being broken down now. I'm not saying Ippo has to abandon the peekaboo style to challenge Martinez, but he does need to evolve it, build a proper game plan and research like never before if he wants to stand in front of the king. Because to even share the ring with Ricardo, it's not just about skill, it's about an equal amount of mindset, hunger and unwavering will. That's exactly why Ippo has been absent for over 300 chapters now. He never had that burning hunger or the unshakable mindset to step back and prove himself. And that is the last piece of the puzzle for him. A mindset that can move mountains, remain unbroken by the levies of lords, and carry a will strong enough to inspire generations to come. If Ippo finally realizes this after witnessing the Sano Martinez fight, then what awaits us is not just a comeback, it's a comeback of a lifetime. If you have enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and follow me on Instagram for my Ippo fan art. I'm the Reading Crow and thanks for watching.